Hi, Court.
And hello, B-Critics fam. Welcome to another episode of the B-Critics podcast.
The Harry Potter era continues with the fifth installment of the Harry Potter movies.
Yes, and we're also in our growth era, so you can help us by helping others find the pod, share the pod with a friend, leave us a rating or review on your favorite streaming platform, and don't forget to follow, subscribe on all the things so you don't miss our episodes.
You can also follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, YouTube at B-Critics Podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow our Instagram for all the best movie content.
Yep. So enough of the boring stuff. I think it's time to get into Harry Potter.
So let's do a quick check-in on the B-Critics Hogwarts House tournament. I'll run through the standings real quick. So we've got in fourth place Ravenclaw with 95 points. In third place, Slytherin with 110 points. In second place, Gryffindor with 190 points. And in first place, Hufflepuff with 215.
I still don't understand how Hufflepuff just remains leagues above. It's so rigged.
It's rigged, but that's okay. It is what it is. As a reminder, you can earn points for your house by commenting on this episode on YouTube and telling us what house you're in.
Yes, leave some comments. All right.
You can comment on like every one of our Harry Potter episodes, but only do it one time.
Only once. Don't do it twice. We'll know you're cheating.
And we'll take points away from your house.
Yes. Our guest critic for this episode is Leigh. Hi, Leigh. Welcome to the B-Critics podcast.
Hey, guys. How you going?
Going good.
How are you?
Going great. Happy to be here.
Yeah. I guess it's a good morning to you. You're all the way on the other side of the world. Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Stay in front. If you'd like to know how the weather is or how everything's going, I can tell you that. Sunshine.
Here we go.
Honestly, it's been beautiful here, so I don't think I need any weather forecast from elsewhere. I'm just content in the East Coast.
We have really nice weather right now.
I'm jealous. It's just raining here.
Well, we are going to give you the opportunity here to tell our audience a little bit about who you are, how you're related to the movie industry, and then give us a little bit more information about Lights, Camera, Rant.
Of course. Well, I'm Leigh, and my podcast is called Lights, Camera, Rant, and we're ranting, raving, and reviewing about all the latest in movies, TV shows, and video games. It was kind of born out of COVID lockdown when we couldn't go anywhere, and I was like, all I could do was either watch movies and drink. So I thought I'll finally start a podcast. And just this past week, we hit episode 126.
Wow.
And I've always had a passion for movies and film. I'm one of those people that loved Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, and it just grew into a giant fandom. And I thought, you know what, I should talk about this. I'm sure there's more people that will have the same opinions, and I thought podcast was the most easiest thing to do, and I thought I'd start that, and here we are.
Awesome.
Yeah, love Jurassic Park. So glad you said that. That's in my Letterboxd top 4. We did an episode on it early on too. And then also love drinking beer and talking about movies. So we'll get along.
That's a dream. I think my first 50 episodes without video were all, I don't think I'm sober for one of them.
That's amazing. Okay, so before we start getting into the movie, because we're talking about Harry Potter, we have some specific Harry Potter related questions to help our audience get a better understanding of who you are as a wizard. So, first off, we need to know, are you a longtime supporter of the Harry Potter series? Like, what is your relationship to HP?
With Harry Potter, I read the first book when during through primary school. I read that, and then I didn't read the rest of the books. But then when that first movie came out, I got so I got amazed by it because it was magical. It was sci-fi. It was adventure, all in one. And from that first movie, opening week, every single one of them, all the way through. Maybe not so much the Fantastic Beasts, but kept watching.
Yeah.
Kept watching every single one, and then in 2018, made sure that when me and my friends went over to America, that we went to Hogwarts, we went to Harry Potter World, which we loved.
Cool.
Four guys all having butterbeers and buying ones. Anyone think we were a different kind of group of guys, but loved it. And even my partner, she loves Harry Potter, and it's the only franchise that she'll put on every single time and do a rewatch.
That's so fun. We love that.
Yeah.
So you haven't read this book though?
No, I only read the first one.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Courtney's like a Harry Potter mega fan.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll know by the end of this for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like, tell me you're a Harry Potter mega fan without telling me you're a Harry Potter mega fan,
Yeah. Just tell me. What do you think of the Fantastic Beasts?
Oh, trash. Keep that away from me.
Wait.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question that we have for you, Leigh, is potentially the most important question we're going to ask you on this episode. And that is, what is your Hogwarts house?
Gryffindor. Just like everybody, it's Gryffindor. However, playing Hogwarts Legacy, I did after I completed Gryffindor, I went and did Slytherin.
Okay, well, you have to pick one.
Yeah, which
it matters.
Gryffindor. 100% Gryffindor.
Okay.
Yes. I'm also a Gryffindor, as you can tell by my robes.
I can tell. I feel underdressed.
Yeah.
Oh no. These are like the cheapest robes we could find. So
literally wrinkling. So at Hogwarts, you are permitted one pet, either a cat, an owl, or a toad. So which animal friend would you have at Hogwarts?
I would have a cat. I was
Perfect
change my mind.
answer.
I'll have a cat because they live long and everyone loves a cat.
that's true.
Yeah, good choice.
I keep
Liz and
like
I are-
waiting for someone to select the toad. And nobody does.
I'd be
Nobody
curious
will.
if everyone does.
I think the most
might be able
popular
to
one so
coerce
far
someone.
has been an owl. So
Yeah.
we're happy that you picked a cat because I think we
We
would
love
both pick a cat.
cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. But yeah, I think if you had to go with Toad and a cat, I'm like, well, you're gonna go with the cat.
The toad's
You
just like the
have to.
funny option. Like
Yeah.
you pick a toad knowing that it's like the most impractical pet you could ever have, but it's kind of funny. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's like for the parents that are like, I don't think you're ready for a pet. Let me get you this toad.
Yeah. Here's your pet rock. Take
Yeah.
good care of it.
Exactly.
all right. So last question before we really start talking about the movie. Who would your magical mentor be? Like pretty much any adult in the series.
I think Lupin.
Yeah, we love Lupin.
I would.
Beautiful answer. That's also my magical mentor.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, I guess people would pick Dumbledore or Snape, but no, I think Lupin's probably one of the characters I really did like in the franchise. And he was only, obviously until the end, he was only trying to do his best, and I think he'd be fun to have as a mentor.
Yeah.
For sure.
Totally
sure.
agree. He's like the most like fatherly figure person, I think, for Harry too.
Yeah.
And like truly fatherly. So I think that gives him some
Yeah.
points.
Especially not Dumbledore.
Yeah. All right. So Leigh, it is time to introduce the movie, and would you like the honors?
More than happy to. So obviously the one we're doing is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. With their warning about Lord Voldemort's return scoffed at, Harry and Dumbledore are targeted by the wizard authorities as an authoritarian bureaucrat slowly seizes power to Hogwarts. And I have not watched this in a long time since you guys told me to watch this. I didn't realize how long, and still boggles me now of when this came out.
Oh
I feel old.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
we do too. Like going back to these, the
Super
first one
old.
came out in like 2002, and we're
Yeah.
like,
Really?
Like I remember going to the theater when this came out. Like
Yeah.
so
Well,
old.
Mm-hmm.
when they had the Harry Potter 20th anniversary special, I'm like, how old am I? When did this come out?
20th anniversary. Oh no.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So, in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter is returning to Hogwarts for his 5th year. But again, he's having to fight his way there, starting with a trial to determine his expulsion status. When he is acquitted and permitted to return to school, Dolores Umbridge has been named Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher and slowly begins to take over the entire school. She instates ridiculous rules, inflicts cruel and unusual punishments on the students, and refuses to teach them magic of any kind. Harry, Ron, and Hermione take matters into their own hands by forming Dumbledore's army and thwarting the next moves of Voldemort and his Death Eaters. Of course, things don't go to plan, and the group of students are saved by the Order of the Phoenix, but not without losing one of the most important and devoted members, Sirius Black. In the end, Harry is able to overcome Voldemort's efforts to invade his mind and realizes he has so much worth fighting for.
That was
I'm crying.
beautiful. Beautiful.
So this movie is 2 hours and 18 minutes long, the shortest.
It's one of the
in the
shorter ones.
series.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
shortest. Wow,
Mhm.
okay.
Came out in 2007 with
Mhm.
a $150 million budget. So the budget's jacking up a little bit, probably because of the
Mhm.
additional CG.
CGI.
And then it box office 942 million. So that's pretty high for the series. I don't think it's the top. I think the first one is still higher than that, but pretty good. And then this is our first movie with David Yates, who finishes out the rest of the films, and I also think does Fantastic Beasts too. Is that right?
Ooh, I
I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I think he does.
Courtney's just like saying things without having actually looked at anything.
No, I'm pretty sure I read that.
I have
pretty
no
sure.
idea. Literally,
But-
You
couldn't
are.
tell you.
You are correct. Yep, he did Fantastic Beasts and Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald and Secrets of
Ah.
Dumbledore. So he's kept going the whole
Wow.
time.
He was in for the long haul.
Yeah, except
I'm
it kept
just
going that
saying
way.
things without any factual. I'm taking 10 points from
Downhill
Hufflepuff for
slope.
that
What?
insult. Yeah.
Except it's going that way since this.
So we got a score by Nicholas Hooper. So a different score again. Sadly.
I loved the intro theme music. I think in Goblet of Fire, it's not as good, but then it gets better in this one.
I would agree.
Yeah. I think it's good. I would agree it's better than Goblet of Fire. And I think it has some moments that are really good because this movie has some really, really emotional moments. And I feel it in those moments. But I think it's hard to top John Williams.
Yeah, it is.
He's the standard bearer. Nothing can go higher than him.
I know.
And then when you look when you look at everything he's done, it's like a mile long. But no, I was just going to say, I'm really glad that they did keep the same director for the future films because you can tell from all the rest of the films all the way to the end that it's got that kind of same direction all the way through. I'm glad they didn't keep chopping and changing because there's multiple franchises that you can look back on and you can clearly tell. Probably the biggest one I'd say is the latest Star Wars sequel trilogy. You can clearly tell the different director has harmed the films.
Yeah, and we'll talk some about that too. Like, I think there's some plot decisions that have to be made, and they have to be made partly because there's so much plot to fit in, but also because of decisions that previous directors have made that David Yates doesn't really have the option to like go back and recreate the past. He has to kind of move forward with what he has. And we've been doing that too on Harry Potter. We've had Chris Columbus as the first two, and then we had two subsequent directors, Alfonso Cuarón and Mike Newell for Azkaban and the Goblet of Fire, and now we have a new director again. So this is the fourth film in a row where we get a new director, and it's good that at least Not that I'm like the biggest David Yates fan ever, but that it's consistent for the rest of the films.
Yeah. I could not tell you another David Yates film. I can tell that right now. But no, I agree. Oh, he directed Tarzan.
Yeah, he's known for like action movies, which I think we'll talk about. It's very evident in this movie that action is his strong suit. And so this movie, we get a bunch of new cast members again.
Yeah.
And just to name a few, we've got Imelda Staunton, who plays Professor Umbridge, Natalia Tena, who's Tonks, George Harris, who's Kingsley, Ivana Lynch, who plays Luna, and then Helena Bonham Carter, who is Bellatrix Lestrange.
They continue to like pick the perfect people.
They do.
For these roles. Like
Yeah,
everyone's
they
cast
really
so
do.
well.
Especially Helena Bonham Carter. She is like the best casting, one of the best castings in the film series, in this entire series, to be honest.
You know, she wasn't originally cast for this role.
No, that's right.
So
that's crazy.
Originally, she was supposed to be portrayed by Helen McCrory, who actually goes on to play Narcissa Malfoy.
Oh,
but
okay.
she got pregnant, and was like pregnant like during filming and couldn't do the stunts, and so they replaced her with Helena Bonham Carter.
I feel
At least
like
she still got in. At least she still got in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like she could have been good as that role also, but I mean,
I can't imagine anyone else being Bellatrix. She did such a good job.
Especially the laugh. The laugh.
Yeah. Oh my god, the laugh is awful.
Yeah,
it's good, but it makes you cringe. You're like, she's yucky.
Yeah, someone standing over your grave. You're like, oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did she ever make her appearance in this film? Quite notable.
Yes. Yeah, she did. But yeah, the first thing you get is her laugh.
Yeah.
She's acting like a crazy person.
Yeah, she's
no different to the rest of the films that she's usually in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very similar to like what she normally plays.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into the movie. This is the longest book in the entire series. It's 766 pages, and it's the shortest movie in the series at 2 hours and 18 minutes, which I think is really interesting. So this movie has a lot of action, a ton of action, but it reduces the story, and it has to, right? Like there's a ton of plot, but we get a original screenplay by Michael Goldenberg. But the action in this movie is definitely its strong suit, I think.
Right up.
I always enjoy when a movie like shows you versus telling you what's going on. And I think with this one specifically, if they had had much more dialogue than they had in it, it could have easily gotten like into the boring territory where you're kind of sitting there like yawning, like with like, should I go to sleep? Should I even finish this movie kind of thing?
Some scenes or some movies don't need that much exposition. Like just go do it, or just, you know, as long as you know what's semi-happening with the cast, you don't need to say, oh, we're all going to go do this, and this, and this. Like, no, just go do it. We don't need to know every little plot detail.
Yeah, interesting that y'all say that. So I have a little section here about the plot cuts. So there's a lot of plot cuts. And what's interesting is, like, I have learned that you have to appreciate the Harry Potter movies as a totally separate experience from the books in order to enjoy them, because there's no way that they're the same. And in some cases, like, they make changes for the better, actually. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I wanted to just list out a few of the major cuts from the book and then just like get them out of the way. And that way I can like have said my piece and I can like experience this recording just accepting that they're different. So I have 5 things listed here that are like pretty significantly different from the movie or cut from the movie. So one is the plot line around Percy. So Percy's not in this film, really. He is, but like they don't explain it at all. So that's confusing. And I think that adds a lot of depth to the Weasley family that's like not in the movie. Ron and Hermione actually become prefects this year, and they don't show that at all, which I think is interesting.
Huh.
That would have been interesting to include. Like, it would have made more sense why they were like Harry's right-hand mans.
Yeah.
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 They're building Dumbledore's army.
Yeah.
And it would have added to like that plot line that they added where like Harry and Harry is like kind of at odds with Ron and Hermione for a little bit, and like it would have explained that more because he was kind of like, what the fuck, like why are y'all prefects and I'm not, kind of thing.
Yeah. I want to be a prefect.
I know.
He had enough on his plate. He did not need that.
No.
They also cut Quidditch entirely from this film, which I think is okay because I think that would have just been like a lot. But it is kind of sad because like Ron and Ginny joined the Quidditch team this year, and there's like this whole like plot line where the Slytherins make up this song called Weasley is Our King, and they sing it because Ron plays the keeper, and they're like, Weasley's our king because he's letting in all the goals that we're scoring against him, kind of thing. And it's just kind of like funny.
Poor Ron.
So yeah,
he gets like shit on left and right. It's awful.
Yeah. At least to mention it. Just be like, oh, by the way, there was, we just came back from Quidditch or something like that.
Yeah.
You have to show it, but just say.
And like Dolores, she actually bans Harry, Fred, and George from Quidditch this year in school because they get in a fight with Malfoy. And so like that would have been funny. But it's just like one of those things, like they kind of have to cut it because it's like a huge like plot line that is just kind of unnecessary to the base plot of the movie.
Yeah.
One thing that I really wish they hadn't cut is the house elves. So Dobby is supposed to have a really big role in this movie as well, and he doesn't. He's not in it at all. He's actually the one that finds the Room of Requirement, and they give that to Neville. And then the last, I know, isn't that interesting? And then also, I mentioned this before, I think, but Hermione starts this organization called Spew, where she's like into freeing elves, and she starts putting like hats around the common room and she covers them up with trash, and she tries to get the elves to like pick them up and free themselves, but they like don't fall for it, I guess. And then
I can see why that was cut out.
Yeah, 100%. I can see why that was cut out.
Yeah.
And then the last bit is they changed a lot about what happens at the Department of Mysteries in the end. They change, like, they kind of cut out like a lot of different rooms that they go into, and they cut it into them just going to the Hall of Prophecies and the room with the veil. And I kind of understand that, but the only thing that I wish that they had left in is that in the book, a lot of the kids get hurt. So like Ginny gets hurt, Neville gets hurt, Luna gets hurt, Ron gets hurt, Hermione gets hurt. And I think it's like a little bit unrealistic that they all just like went in there, faced a bunch of Death Eaters, and like all left unscathed,
Just a normal day. Just a normal day.
They're all like bleeding from somewhere, but they're not like maimed.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so I've said my piece. I had to get out of the way. But what I will say is that the plot was condensed and changed. But in some cases, I think this was actually for the better for the sake of the movie, because we were able to portray like the intent or emotion of the scene more so than like maybe a subplot or like a long piece of dialogue could have in the movie setting. And I personally think this movie does a lot better job than Goblet of Fire of like condensing periods of time or like plot points and emotions into like different writing of the story.
Well, this one definitely feels a lot more. Well, the feeling I got from it was it wasn't so much you didn't feel any lull points. Like I think from the start, it's just pretty much go, 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 go. Like it doesn't have that lull point. It just seems to stay strong all the way through. That's how I found
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one example of this is actually the plot thread throughout the entire movie. So, this idea that Harry needs to rely on his friends for strength. So, you see like the friend rift between Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And then you see this like scene with Luna and the Thestrals and her saying, like, Harry, like, rely on your friends kind of thing. Like, that's all added. None of that is like scenes from the book. And so that was all kind of added to portray this like theme that takes full circle from the beginning of the movie to the end when Voldemort possesses Harry. And we get the bit where like he can't because, you know, Harry has these friendships and this love in his life. And so
I have friends you don't.
Yeah.
get out of
Things
my
that are
head,
worth
sir.
protecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
did
then
like that theme like throughout the movie. I like that you get the part where he's like, I should just go and do it myself. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I start caring about people, it makes it so much worse. Like I should just go deal with this and like go handle it on my own. And then he like comes to the realization that like I probably can't do this on my own. I'm gonna have to rely on people and gotta have the right people
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And it keeps coming back, right? Like they make it start from the beginning, and then there's so many times throughout the movie that theme continues to come up.
Keeps kicking in.
Mhm.
Or even at the very start, when they're like, he's like, "What do you know?" He's like, "Oh, Dumbledore told us not to say anything." He's like, "Why haven't you said anything?" So it even starts from, "Why haven't you told me?" And it starts from there just slowly. What don't I know?
Yeah. Why does everyone else know?
Yeah,
I don't.
everyone else.
FOMO, serious FOMO.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's-
I would feel the same. Honestly. Like what the heck?
that is the
Thought you
theme
were
of
my
this
friends.
entire movie is FOMO. Harry Potter FOMO.
Yes. All of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So this movie has a different tone than some of the other movies. It's a lot darker than any of the movies so far, but it's also Harry's angsty movie. Like
Yeah, he's in a mood like the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Not a happy mood either.
No. Well, between not finding out everything and then the newspapers telling him that he's a liar, he can't. Yeah, he can't get the bit of a raw stick for this film.
That would be extremely frustrating. You're
Yeah.
like, no, like I was there, like I experienced, I saw it, and they're like, no, you didn't,
Like,
Harry, honey, no, you didn't. Stop lying. It's
yeah.
like,
shh, it's all right.
Yeah,
It was all a
it's
dream.
okay. If you want to talk about gaslighting, there's a lot of gaslighting that happens in this movie, and not just to Harry either. Hermione gaslights Ron quite a bit in this movie.
Yes. And Harry lashes out a lot. Like
Yeah, he
at
does.
everybody. Especially at Ron and Hermione. He's so mean.
And they're so understanding too. Like
It's okay.
this is the first time we see them be super understanding about what he's going through, which is nice to see.
Harry also in this movie has a lot of prophecy dreams and sweats a lot.
He's so sweaty. He is so sweaty.
And I don't think you sweat that much when you have like a panic attack or something like that. I'm like, sure you don't.
I
Well,
think
that's
He literally looks like he's
exaggerating.
been dunked underwater.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
like-
he looks really wet.
Yeah, like splashed. All right, wake up, go.
Yeah. I just imagine someone coming through with like a squirt bottle, like, all right, ready to go.
Are you ready for your next scene?
How many
Yeah.
How many takes did he have to do where like he was just like thrashing around in bed, like all sweaty, like you know? So many different points in the movie. He dreams
Take
so
12.
much in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a lot of sweaty dreaming.
Which is, look, it's fair if you've just seen someone die and someone very evil has just risen back and no one believes you. I think you'd still have nightmares.
I 100% agree. 100%.
You were saying how this one gets darker, which I never realized until a lot later on, but you can tell by the WB logo. Again, it's decayed. Again,
Mm-hmm.
very at the start. So it's
Yep.
continuing that trend.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Liz, you pointed that out on the last one, I think. So
Mhm.
they're kind of like showing you right at the beginning with the logos, like how this
How
story
it's
is
gonna
going to go.
Mm.
Yep. So the darkness in this one is cut with some like comedic bits too. How did y'all feel about the comedy in this movie?
I didn't think it was super funny.
Not laugh.
I
I
didn't
thought there
either.
was more like romance portions where you were like, "Oh, that's pretty cute."
Aww.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But like all the bits with like you get Filch like sitting outside of the room of requirement.
And like Fred and George are pretty
Yeah.
funny in this one with all
Yeah.
their little
Yeah.
tricks and stuff.
They
Yeah.
try to start selling at the start. You can use this, you can use this, you can use that. And the kid's got all the
Mhm.
pox and everything on his face.
Uh-huh.
At the very least, I don't think this movie is like super funny, like haha funny, but I think it's I just thought of that like Backyardigans meme that's like it's not funny, haha, it's funny, weird. But no, it's like funny in the way that it breaks up the darkness and it like kind of makes you remember like this is a magical place like in the castle.
Lightens it up for a second.
Mm.
Yeah.
This one starts so grim at the start with the Desolated with Dudley and then the Dementors and then Harry going like it really isn't a laughing or smile point for probably at least about 20 minutes or
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you're
something
right.
lighthearted.
I had like completely forgotten about the whole Muggle scene at the beginning of this movie. It started and I was like, I'm watching the right movie. Like what?
Yeah.
Like what is this? And I was like, oh, okay, it's Harry and Dudley. Like, yeah, I'm watching the right movie. But I had completely forgotten about that whole plot thing until the old lady showed up. And then I was like, oh, okay, like I know what's going on now. I don't know why. Just
But it's
never
even
paid attention to the beginning, I guess.
it's even creepy because there's no one else at the park. Like it's just
Mm-mm.
them. Like why is 6 guys and 7 teenagers just at the park and where is everybody else?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always thought that scene was like a little weird. That like
Yeah.
just the world like cleared out from that spot.
Yeah. Just nobody.
Everyone's gone.
And the sun changed.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we get some more character development in this movie. So let's start with the main trio. They've got some more, I guess, like emotional depth in this movie. Harry gets his first on-screen kiss in this movie.
Mm.
And it's with like the love of his life.
Yeah.
No,
For
not
the
the love
movie.
of his life, just Joe.
Okay,
And
up until this
low-key,
point,
it's kind of like an awkward kiss.
It's so
I thought it was cute.
It's awkward.
And
They don't
the
even
little-
touch each other.
Yeah.
The little yeah, okay, what did your first kiss
Mistletoe?
look like?
Not
Probably
like
like
that. No.
Just as awkward.
100% guarantee that's what mine looked like,
Yeah.
so it's relatable.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is a movie, so we need it to be better than that, please.
It's supposed to be relatable for the masses, Courtney. You're supposed to be able to relate to it. This
they're
is a
just with
young
your
adult
kids.
movie, okay?
Oh yeah, young
I
adult movie.
guess. One thing we've been doing, Leigh, in all of our episodes, because one of Elizabeth's favorite characters is Ron.
Mhm.
And so we like to get our guests' feel on like what they thought of Ron in this movie. So like a Ron temperature check. So
Mhm.
we're curious what you thought
What
of
level
him.
heat is he on in this one?
Yeah.
And by heat, like do you mean attractiveness or just?
You're not the first person to ask that question.
Yeah.
So Ron's character is like hot and cold. Like people like him, they don't like him. He kind of goes back and forth. So like, how are we feeling about Ron? Is he being a good guy this time? Is he being a little shit? Like, what's going on?
I thought this one I would say he was a lot more of a friend. This one, like Goblet of Fire. I always think, yeah, he's a shit in that one. I'm like,
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
just annoying until the ending. It's like, oh, I helped you. I'm like, just tell him that. You could have saved
Just
so much freaking time.
apologize. Like,
Yeah. Like you did help. But no, I thought this one he was a bit more of a friend to Harry and like wanted to do more things and didn't lie as much or be infatuated as much.
Yeah.
I
Still very
thought,
attractive.
yes, I thought Ron was on a high heat this movie. He shows some courage. He's witty. He's getting like a little hunky for Hermione over there. And she's like noticing
is.
him. Plus, like you said,
Yeah.
he's like a really good friend in this one. So I like turned
Yeah.
up the heat on Ron. I was like, you know what? You're doing good things. Let's like keep it at this level.
They also
which-
finally give him some credit in this movie. Like there's that moment when they're escaping from the Inquisitorial squad and Ron's like, "Oh, we gave them like puking pasties." And Hermione's like, "That was really what'd you say? Like smart of you, Ron."
That was a really
And
good
he's like,
idea.
"Yeah,
to happen.
finally these directors
Yeah.
aren't shitting on me and giving all my lines to Hermione." Yeah, sounds like Ron is pretty well liked in this movie.
Changes when he gets in the next ones, but yeah.
Yeah, Liz, we're on a high here. Get ready to go downhill.
He needs a mentor, okay?
So in this movie, the trio expands a little bit to include some more friends. So we've got Ginny, Luna, and Neville, who also...
I am obsessed with Luna. Like,
yeah,
as soon as she
she's
came
the
on the screen,
best.
I was like, oh, that's this movie. Luna's like the best.
Yeah.
I'm going to give 10 points to Ravenclaw for Luna just because she is who she is. Like, obsessed. Obsessed.
Finally, some
Completely
points for
obsessed.
Ravenclaw. Very underrepresented. I'll give him an extra 10.
Fully agree. I think she's like one of the unsung heroes in the films. I think she does so much, and she's so much for Harry. Like I even thought to myself, I'm like, you should have ended up with Harry.
Yes.
Like you understand Harry a whole lot more than I feel like Ron and Hermione did a couple of times.
I made that connection too. I was like, why did Luna and Harry not end up together? Like at the end of the movie, she's the only one who comes to him and is like, I'm so sorry for your loss, Harry. The only one.
Yeah,
out of
so
all those people.
I like the changes that they made with Luna and like how they made her a strong character until people start saying things like that. And then I'm like, why didn't they spend this time developing Ginny? Because there's so much about Ginny that they cut out of these movies and they like give stuff to Luna. And I'm like, that's why people think that Luna should end up with Harry because, and then.
Like,
so
no,
okay, there is one moment where Hermione is like introducing Luna and she's like weird about it. What happened there? Why is Hermione being weird about introducing Luna?
She called her
like,
Looney Lovegood in front of everybody. She says, "Hello, everybody. This is Luna Lovegood."
I did not pick up on that.
Right.
Yeah,
Hermione.
Yeah,
Girl.
yeah, and she insults the Quibbler, which is what not in the movie, but she does, and that's what Luna's dad writes is the Quibbler.
Hermione.
Oh,
I know.
No.
Yeah,
that's the moments where you just like, I want to die. I just want to go away.
Yeah, that's like very much something that a person like Hermione would do is like accidentally say something and be like,
yeah,
I'm gonna go now.
yeah. You need to go to the bathroom
Slowly.
Just back away.
Yeah.
So we get some Neville backstory in this movie as well.
Poor Neville. Poor Neville.
I know.
It's until the last movie, you're watching it and you feel bad for him every single time.
He's
until
like
the last movie.
pitiful.
Yeah.
Awful. So bad.
He's just trying to survive. All the years he's just trying to survive, and he keeps getting dragged into all these situations.
He's just like so nice.
Yeah.
At least he finally learns the spell that they're all learning. Like,
finally.
I like that they give him too the moment where he like tries to like jump after Bellatrix Lestrange too. So you kind of see
Mm.
him have like a, I don't know, like a growth moment there where he kind of like finds his courage.
He's not being frozen to death and falling onto the ground anymore.
She deserved it.
No.
They should have let him do that to her.
They should have.
I know. And Ginny too even has her moments in this movie. They're smaller, but they're there.
She's starting to become like a real wizard.
Yeah.
Which, well, it's all the same.
Yeah, she's growing up. I'm glad she's
Slowly.
involved and they're starting to give her lines, so it's good.
This is a lot more of a group effort, this movie, for this adventure compared to the rest. Like, I found like it was more of that, obviously, yes, Order of the Phoenix, but, you know, all these other characters get a bit more of a shine finally after 4 movies. This movie.
Yeah. We do get a little bit more personality from some of the like side characters.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And I'm glad that we do. And I think they do a cool job. Like, they give Sirius that line kind of towards the beginning when he gives Harry the photograph of the Order of the Phoenix. And he says, like, oh, I guess y'all are the young ones now. And then this movie centers a lot on like the DA and then like the new, like, younger Order of the Phoenix people, you know, being created. So it's cool.
Making their own decisions. It's very cool.
And then we also get to see some of the relationships develop a bit more that Harry has with some of the older characters. So one that really shines in this movie is the Harry-Sirius relationship.
R.I.P. As soon as Harry gets comfortable with someone, they're like ripped out of his life. Every time.
Gone.
I know. Tragic.
So sad.
And I remember when I first saw this and that ending with Sirius Black, and I was like, come on, he just
I know, it's so heartbreaking. So
like,
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's like, I love you, I'm here. Nah.
Yep. And we also get the beginnings of a proper relationship between Harry and Dumbledore, which is kind of off to a rocky start throughout. Like,
he's a turd at the beginning. Dumbledore is a straight turd at the beginning.
Straight dick.
Yeah. Because he's straight up ignoring him, keeping information from him.
I'm not about it. I'm not a fan. I don't enjoy that Dumbledore.
No, me either.
And it adds weight when you obviously know what happens in the end. You're like, God, you really were rough on the poor kid who just wanted to talk to you.
And
he
wanted your like reassurance. Like, you didn't have to tell him anything, but like you could have been there. I don't know.
Yeah. Not like, I helped you with the court case. Out. I helped. Her name just escapes me just then. I had it. Help Civil get back into the grounds, but now I'm out. Anytime he gets close, gone.
Did y'all pick up on the fact that Dumbledore was afraid that if he talked to Harry, that Harry would get possessed by Voldemort? Like, in that moment.
Why was he? Why? Okay, I did pick up on that, but I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Because so in the graveyard, like, I guess Voldemort figured out that he had this connection with Harry. And so Dumbledore knew that Voldemort was going to try to kill, was going to try to like possess Harry, and thought that he would try to get to Dumbledore through Harry. And so that is why, like, at the end, Voldemort possesses Harry because he tries to get Dumbledore to kill Harry.
Interesting.
And they kind of cut that line a little bit. They like, I think, like, when Harry says, like, says something, old man, he's supposed to say, like, kill me now, Dumbledore, or whatever. Like, if death means nothing to you, like, kill Harry now. And he doesn't fall for it.
Do it.
Interesting.
Yeah. But they never really explain that. So it makes Dumbledore just look like a dick the whole movie.
Yeah.
He does kind of like show his sweeter side in that moment, like when Harry's being possessed. Like, you get the sweet Dumbledore back after we've had a few movies of Dumbledore being kind of like a hard ass. You kind of get like the sweet old man again.
Yeah, I'm glad that we do. I think the end is like a good moment for Dumbledore, and he's like calm again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not
Talks like a normal
disappearing
human.
with his phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to
Yeah.
admit, Dumbledore has style.
I have no interest in ever going to Azkaban.
Yeah. You'd think
So
the
speaking of-
impression I would come quietly.
Yeah. You would be
Nope.
wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
So we also get the Order in this movie, which is cool. And interestingly, we have that Severus Snape is a member of the Order.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's a surprise to all of them.
Yes. Along with Tonks, Kingsley, Lupin, Mad Eye, Sirius, even though
bunch
he's
of
locked in his own
people.
house.
So, Tonks, why does she not like her name?
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
She just likes to go by Tonks instead of Nymphadora. She doesn't like that name. It's just a thing.
Okay.
Don't call
Also-
me Nymphadora.
Let me go fire her hair. I saw that in the book. I have not read the book, but in the book, she's supposed to have pink hair, and in the movie, it's purple.
Yeah, so in the book, she's supposed to have pink spiky hair, and actually Lupin delivers the Nymphadora line. And then Tonks says, "Don't call me Nymphadora" to Lupin, which would be better because Tonks is supposed to end up with Lupin in the end. So
I did remember that happening. But
yeah,
I read that they made her hair purple so that she wouldn't be associated with Umbridge because everything about Umbridge is pink, which I hate.
That's true. Yeah.
that is interesting. Okay, let's talk about Umbridge.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Let's talk
the
about
worst villain than Voldemort.
Yeah, she's awful.
Awful.
She does not deserve the color pink as her signature color. And she also does not deserve all the cute little kitty cats that are around her office. She doesn't deserve any of that. She should be in like paisley with like brown. That's what color she should be wearing.
Okay, I have to say, I haven't watched this movie since owning a cat. And when I was watching it and I was like looking at all the little kitty cats on the plates in her office, I was like, they're so cute. How does she have such cute little cat portraits? Like, I want one of those for my wall.
She doesn't deserve any of it.
No.
She's evil.
I feel anyone you talk to, Umbridge is the worst villain. Like a lot worse than anything Voldemort's done.
She's so calculated.
Yeah. And technically, you don't technically see her die either.
She doesn't die. She comes back. She's in the 7th book and the movie.
Oh, that's right. She
gets Mad Eye's eye and she puts it in her office.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Dumbledore goes and saves her from the centaurs, actually.
I thought she was supposed to be expelled from the ministry.
Nah.
That's what the newspaper at the end said.
Well, when Voldemort takes over the ministry, she's allowed back in.
Of course she is.
What a stupid man.
Yeah. I mean, she's the worst villain, and she's not even a Death Eater. She's just like pure evil in her heart for no reason.
Well,
she has like no motive. She's just like, let me do these mean things.
Well, straight from the start, she's like, am I under the impression the fact that you're saying the ministry is wrong and because they control the Dementors? Is that what I'm hearing? Shut up.
Yeah.
No one asked your opinion.
I think Imelda Staunton did like such a fabulous job, like executing every single one of her lines. Like just the way that she said them and like that little like cough thing that she does. Yeah. I can't even do it. I thought her costuming was so good. Like they had her dressed perfectly. I also liked the detention, I must not tell lies effect.
Yeah.
You know deep down that you deserve to be punished, don't you, Mr. Potter?
Yeah.
And I was like, I hate you. I hate you. You're literally forcing him to like injure himself.
Yeah.
And he's the one that needs to be punished.
First saw that, I was like, oh, like that's really messed up.
Really messed up.
Yeah, like you have to
Yeah.
do like 50 lines.
And then she does it to like the whole group.
Yeah,
Ugh. Ugh.
yeah.
Ugh.
It's like,
No,
I
thank
must
you.
have,
Yeah, she is wild.
this whole film she is.
They really amped up to the Inquisitorial Squad subplot. So in the movie, she gets like over 100 educational decrees up on the wall about literally anything and everything.
What is
God.
Filch's deal? What does he get out of following her like
He
instructions?
gets power to punish the students.
Yeah.
He says that he wants to like hang them from shackles, and she's like, maybe we'll get there one day.
Jeez. He's like a
And he's
lost
like-
puppy with her.
Yeah.
I do not like him at all. He's also a villain, and he's in all the movies. Like, why did they keep
Yeah.
him around? He's terrible.
Good question.
Why do we keep the creepy dude? If we know one likes
Yeah.
him and he hates all the kids, why do we keep him?
him?
Talk about somebody
he could
else
easily be replaced.
that is
Yeah.
perfectly cast, though, is Argus
Yes.
Filch.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
Yes.
He's in Game of thrones, too.
Yeah.
I have
It's-
no idea who he is.
When I saw him in Game of Thrones, I was like, oh, he's just going to complain about the kids.
Yeah.
And where's the cat?
His
Where's
name
the
is David
cat?
Bradley.
Yeah.
Uh,
And with all those, I did love the scene where they all smash.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good scene.
It was
mhm.
effective. I remember
Yeah.
thinking that when I was watching it.
Fred
Like,
and George are
yeah.
the cutest characters. Like, they just have like such fun ideas. Like, who wouldn't want to be friends with them?
No,
Like,
MVPs.
they're just like fun all the time. They're like, academics might not really be for us, so let's just like go ruin everything.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun to do.
Yeah.
One thing that they didn't show in the movie is that when Fred and George do their exit, they actually put a swamp in one of the corridors that the Professor Umbridge can't get it to go away. And so for 2 weeks, Filch has to take students across the corridor via boat to get to their classes.
Goodness.
That would have been good to see.
I mean, they didn't have time to put something like that
That
in
would've been
there.
funny.
No.
Yes, they did. The longest movie is 2 hours and 47 minutes.
I mean, I'm
Seriously.
honestly, I agree. I think they should have made this movie an hour longer and not made some of the like plot changes that they did. But that's just me.
We'd still watch it all the way
But-
through multiple times.
Yeah.
Of course. So speaking of that moment when all the educational degrees smash, we get a ton of really cool like special visual effect moments in this movie. We've got a lot of entire sets that are special effects, such as the Hall of Prophecy that is done entirely with green screen. But there's a ton of moments, and I have a list here. But we can start with the Hall of Prophecy and like the Veil Room and those sets because I think they're really cool.
They were, and that's where a lot of the budget goes into. And like as you said at the beginning of this episode, is the budget and the special effects on this one is so much higher. Even though we did get dragons in the last one, I feel like this has a lot more creativity in special effects.
Oh, yeah.
So for the Hall of Prophecy, the Department of Ministries, like the whole thing, was the first fully CG set in the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
So like none of that was practical, just because it would have been a hassle, honestly, to do it.
Yeah.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine if they had to make a bunch of prophecies to like break
Yeah,
legitimately
and then to like have to
Yeah.
clean them up and replace them every
do it
time,
again?
that's-
Yeah.
no.
You want to get one shot.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. We also get number 12 Grimmauld Place, and you get to
That's
see it.
the building
appear.
that moves.
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
I always thought that was cool. Like how it just
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a little thing, but I'm glad that they like give it its moment where you like see it appear.
Because then you can tell that it's like a magical place. Like if they
Mhm.
hadn't done that, it would have been just like, okay, we're walking into this like random house. Like, what is this? You know?
nothing special about it. But
We also get the
Mhm.
black family tree in there, which I thought was really,
Yeah.
really cool. And
Yeah.
apparently those are all like characters that J.K. Rowling like included as part of the lore for the Black family. Like everything in there came straight from her, even like who was supposed to be scorched out and not. Which is pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
She's
they
put
had
like
all
so
of that.
much thought into it.
They had all of that like pretty accurate. They just didn't like
Mm.
explain all of it, but I'm glad that they at least like included it, because you could see, I think that like all the the Black family is like a pure wizarding family, right? And so they're connected to so many other large wizarding families. And it's cool that they like had it there and included it and gave, they also like kind of changed up how that scene went, and I think they made it almost like a better moment between Harry and Sirius that was like heartfelt and special.
Yeah, one thing that they never explain in the movies is that the Black family was like traditionally like Voldemort followers, right? And so like that's part of it. All the faces that are scorched out are the ones that turned to the good side and didn't follow Voldemort. And so it's kind of backwards. But they never really explain that. They like he just says like, oh, my mom did that when I ran away, but he doesn't explain like why he ran away.
Yeah. So Narcissa is originally a Black, so she married into the Malfoy family.
Yeah.
And then
Bellatrix also.
Bellatrix, she married into the Lestrange family. And then
Tonks.
Tonks. Yeah, Tonks is also on the family tree. And then Sirius's younger brother is Regulus, and he was a Death Eater also.
Yep. Which they never explain. So that whole scene, you're just kind of like, why are all these names scorched out? And
there's so much about the Black family house that's just like implied in the movies. Like, for example, so when they get up to the house and it appears, the reason it appears, and they actually never do this, is that Dumbledore is the secret keeper of the house. So there's like a magical enchantment on it where only somebody who is told by Dumbledore can see the house and know of its existence and go into the house. And so Mad Eye is supposed to show Harry a piece of paper written by Dumbledore that says like number 12 Grimmauld Place is like the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix. And then Harry looks up and the house appears. So you see the house appearing, but they just don't really have time to like explain all of that. So it's something that's just like implied in the movie, I guess.
I assumed it was just like to hide the entrance.
Which I always thought, obviously overlooking things, I'm like, where about everyone else in the other house, like the rest of the apartments in that house? Like, do you notice the fact that you're slowly moving to one side and that happens at random times?
Your TV's shaking while you're watching it.
Yeah. Or you look at your window and you're, it's just a train. Or you look out the window, it's a different spot.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Some other stuff that is fully CG are some of the creatures in this story. So speaking of the house, we have Creature, the house elf.
I hate him. He is the bane of my existence. Do not like Creature. Also, they just casually have a house elf slave. Casually.
They don't prefer this term slave. It's it's just a house elf.
It's enslaved. Just casually, and no one's concerned about it.
Nah.
Well,
that's normal in the Wizarding world.
It's awful.
Don't they show though in this movie, Hermione's like, you should free him, and Sirius is like, we literally can't. Like, he knows too much about the order. Like, we can't free him.
I don't remember that happening. I don't think that
Neither do I. But that would make a good reason why they have him like, you know too much, so I need you to do my washing.
You're stuck here.
Yeah. They also remove a lot of Creature's subplot because Creature actually, so you know how they show it, they imply it. It's so crazy, like how they imply things and then they just like don't ever like explain it.
So
Sirius he says like at one point he says like creature like out with ya or something. He's like get away. And what creature actually does is he leaves the house and he goes to the Malfoy's house and he gets with Narcissa Malfoy and he helps the Malfoys plot to get like Harry in the Ministry. It's so creature is bad.
Well, they
because
show
he's-
him being bad later in the series.
Yeah.
Just haven't shown it yet.
Yeah. We've also
Well,
got
I guess
Grop.
Hagrid's half brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is probably the one part that where the CGI in this whole film was like, oh.
A little questionable.
Bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Everything else, really good. But when I saw that scene, I was like, I don't know if that's hasn't aged well, or they could have done that a little bit differently.
Yeah, they should have done it differently.
I think I read that it was like very challenging to do Grop CGI because he's so much bigger than them and they're so small. And I just think at that time, like it was just new and challenging, and it doesn't. That's like the one piece that doesn't really hold up that great.
It didn't come across well, for sure.
No, that made me think of the first one CGI. Straight off the bat, I was like,
The troll.
Yeah, the troll. I'm like, this is just about as a troll.
You can like see the outline.
Yeah.
The Quidditch in the first movie.
Yeah.
That's like
zooming
CGI
around
in the whole series.
Yeah. Like, ooh.
One thing that did look good is the Thestrals, though. I thought they were pretty.
Yeah, they did.
Pretty well done.
That was another point that I thought was weird. I understand the like concept of the Thestrals, but how come none of the students knew about them? Like not even Hermione, who knows literally everything, knew about them.
No. Didn't know. Yeah.
They'd never questioned how the carriages were moving ever.
They just thought they moved themselves.
Oh, they're just enchantment. You know, just like everything else around here is enchanted. But you're right. Like, that would have been something Hermione would have known.
Mm-hmm.
And the CGI and that, they looked a lot better than Hagrid's brother.
Very good. They looked
Yeah.
really good. And you even get to
they
see them
looked
up
really good.
close. So it's like impressive how well they did on those.
So we can make a dead horse, look really good. But if someone wants to be like 3 feet taller than even a taller person, nah, we can't do that.
Nah. Even like the Quidditch, or not the Quidditch, but like the flying through the city at the beginning, like that CGI was way better. Like I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I guess because I don't really understand like what all goes into CGI, but I just don't understand why the Grop CGI had to be so bad. Like
they should have just shown him from far away and not shown him close up, like if that was the issue.
Yeah. Or
yeah,
just
I agree.
stilts, a mesh suit, something like that would have worked better.
I think he was too big. Like they do that stuff with Hagrid, right? Like interesting camera angles, but I think he was just like way too big to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do they ever have another giant in the series?
I think in the Battle of Hogwarts.
They should have just had them be like more close to normal human size.
Well, Hagrid's always looked fine. You telling me you
Yeah.
couldn't just do a little bit bigger than him?
Even Madame Maxine, like she looked great.
Yeah.
She was really big.
She was very, very tall.
I don't know. I don't know. I think they could have like had less interaction between him and Hermione because he doesn't need to pick up Hermione. Like I don't even think he does in the book.
No,
so like
that
they
was-
could have just like had him over like grunting in the corner and like look a little bit more realistic, and I would have been fine with that.
No, you go show him really up close and watch it struggle. Even the fight with Dumbledore and Voldemort. Even though the fact that's magic, that looked better.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, they did a good job with the magic, like all of the magic, the fireworks, everything looked really good.
Yes, the fight.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why like David Yates was important for this film is because there's so much more action that he did a good job with that. I think he at least did that really well. So
it was a lot more action. With this one, the last one, all just keeps ramping up.
and continues to ramp up. Okay, so I think it's time to get into our 7 key plot points of the movie because 7 is the most magical number. Starting with number 1. We start off our story back in Little Whinging with the Dursleys, except this time Harry is haunted by dreams of the graveyard and Cedric dying. Him and Dudley are also being haunted by something else. 2 real-life Dementors that Harry must defend them from by casting his Patronus in the presence of a Muggle.
I felt like they were very harsh on him. Like, he was saving someone's life. 2, he's been through hell and back. Like, cut him some slack.
And
And
again.
3, this family knows he does magic. Like, what's the problem? What's the issue?
Yeah, like it's not.
I don't
he
get
didn't-
it.
Totally agree.
He didn't
Don't
do
get
the magic. He didn't do the magic in front of a complete random. Like the whole
No.
family knows
Mm-hmm.
that he has magic and he does
Mhm.
magic. It's not like he did in front of a crowd of a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
And God, Vernon's such a justice.
With the spoon. Like, what
With
are
a
you eating? Like
spoon.
a whole tub of ice cream? Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
I love the
but
Dursleys. They're so, like, just so well portrayed. It's crazy.
They did a good job.
They always do a good job.
But yeah, I think it was a bit rough for Harry. You know, like you just seen all this happen, and then you save Dudley, who's just a dick to you the whole time, and then you go, oh, by the way, you're expelled.
Mhm.
You're out, even though you saved his life.
Yep.
Yeah,
Awful.
I
They
think it
couldn't
just goes to
do the, like,
show.
remember spell or whatever it's called and like make Dudley forget about it.
Which is normal in this entire universe.
They do it all the time. Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh, forget.
Yeah.
Hermione does it to her parents.
I know.
Oh. Don't even start on that. I'm not emotionally prepared for that right now. Oh my God.
I'm not ready.
Not ready. No. I think it just goes to show like how deluded though Fudge is and the Ministry is, that they like don't believe that Voldemort is back.
Mhm.
How afraid they are.
Yeah.
Very afraid.
Which Dumbledore says the same thing. Says that Fudge is not in his right mind. Straight off the bat.
Yeah.
I have so much more to say about this, but it's all things that they omitted and changed from the book, so I'm not going to say it because I'm going to be on my best behavior.
No, go ahead.
The only thing
No,
I'll
it'll
ask,
be like 30 minutes. We don't want that.
The only thing I'll ask is, did they ever share that Umbridge was the one who sent the Dementors from Azkaban
No.
to Harry?
No.
They never said that.
Yeah, doesn't that
No.
make you hate her more?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
She was being so defensive about it that it like it had to be her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why would she care otherwise?
Again, implied.
Mhm.
Implied. Yeah, so like for me, it's like, okay, fine. Like they show her being all defensive, but
Not a fan. Not a fan. Pink.
You
She does
didn't-
not deserve any shade of pink.
no.
None.
You don't deserve to wear the color.
No. No, she doesn't.
Okay, number 2, the DA is formed. So per usual, there is a new Defense Against the Dark Arts professor at Hogwarts, Professor Dolores Umbridge, looking like a plump toad in a fluffy pink cardigan. Except Professor Umbridge works for Fudge and is only there because the Ministry is interfering at Hogwarts. So Hermione initiates the forming of Dumbledore's army.
It's so cute how she's like excited to break the rules. She's like, isn't this so exhilarating? And they're like, yeah, we do this all the time.
We've done this for the last
Mhm.
4 movies.
Yeah.
Where have you
Yeah.
been?
She's always involved. I don't know why they do that to her.
Yeah. It's
But-
exciting.
I like Harry's speech where he talks about
Mhm.
like, y'all don't know what it's like.
And they're like, tell us what it's like. We want to know. We want to help. I love
Well,
that. Well, we start here.
yeah. As a child,
What did y'all-
parents.
What did y'all think about the like the DA scenes, like when they were in the room of requirement and like practicing spells and stuff?
I loved it. I thought it was so fun.
I like seeing them all together, and I liked how they were all trying to work as a team, and even that room, just that set looked cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously try and do the spells and everything. You saw the next generation coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two things to say about that. If you watch closely, you can tell that each of the witches and wizards, even the adults, not just the kids, have their own style of how they cast things. And
Mm.
the filmmakers actually brought in a choreographer to teach each of them the like correct way based on their character's personality. So like with Lucius, his is like very stiff and everything he does is like very staccato, whereas like Sirius is more like kind of like at the very he'll like start a spell, like start saying it, and then he'll flick his thing out because everything he does is like very last minute and very like kind of nonchalant. Which I thought was cool that they like had the forethought to like bring someone in to teach them how to make it come across like it matches their character,
A
which I thought
wand
was fun.
instructor.
What?
Yeah, that.
A wand instructor. Mine's always my favorite is Cedric. Now, out of everyone in the
The two
entire,
hands.
the two hands, and you're holding it like a gun.
Yeah,
Like,
Like he's scared of it.
yeah.
he
Like,
was, because I
everyone
think
else
he
is like
said,
this. But he's like,
yeah, he said he felt weird like holding it out like everybody else, so he held it like a gun, like over.
yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah.
Oh my
But I love that
gosh.
fact, Liz. That's cool because I think it
Yeah.
looks really natural the way that everybody
Mhm.
does it. So I think that was
Yeah.
a smart decision by the filmmakers.
And then the second thing I have is about the room of requirements. So that room is a mixture of practical and special effects.
Cool.
And in the books, it's described as having no beginning or end. So it's just like massive room. And to achieve this like sense of like infinity, I guess, their visual effects team spent 5 months designing that room alone.
Holy
And what they
crap.
came up with is because there's mirrors everywhere, and those are real
Yeah.
mirrors. And to make sure that they didn't capture the like camera people or the crew, they made them rotating. So they would based on where the cameramen were located, they would like rotate the mirror slightly so it didn't capture them in the mirrors. They could still get the shots with the mirrors in them. And then they also it's like very bright in that room. And so in order to like minimize the brightness so that you didn't get stuff reflecting everywhere, they made the floor black, like slate black, but mirrored still. And so the cast had to wear like felt bottom shoes so they didn't scratch it. And anytime the crew members were walking around, they had to wear surgical shoes so they didn't track dust in.
Holy shit.
That's
There's like
crazy.
so much goes into that room
Yeah.
that's in like 2 scenes.
3
It's
tops.
a pretty important room.
Yeah.
And it comes back.
It is.
Yeah.
I just
I
thought
think
it
they
was
did a pretty
crazy
good job with it.
how they came up with like how they were going to do that, because
That is
it looks
crazy.
how they describe it, just massive.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, and you don't realize this when you watch it. You don't realize how much goes into it of them trying to build a set. One of my all-time favorite little nuggets of set building was there's a scene in a very old horror movie called Nightmare on Elm Street, and there's a scene where this girl is like terrible things are happening to her, but she's moving around the room. They built an entire set on a rotating wheel, so it looked like she was going on the roof and around the room. So the whole thing's rotating, and the whole like a bedroom, they built it on a wheel to shoot the scene.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
So
That
smart.
is really cool. It's cool, like, especially in the Harry Potter films, how they make these really crazy, elaborate sets and like just how much goes into them for how, like, we're talking about just a few scenes in those rooms. Like, for example, Dumbledore's office and how much went into that set. And I think it's cool that we get some time in the office in this movie as well. So it like comes back. So it's important that it's right the first time.
That's
Yeah.
right. And the Chamber of Secrets, That was half CGI and half practical, and the part that's practical is the giant snake statues.
Yeah. Yeah, and it comes back too. So it's important that it like that they put the right amount of effort into it so it holds up.
Well, the Chamber of Secrets, they actually destroyed it because they didn't know that they were going to need it, so they had to rebuild that one.
Idiots.
Because when they made the
it probably
movies,
hadn't
she
come
wasn't
out
done with the
yet.
books.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, that's right.
they didn't know that they were going to need it, and so they wasted a ton of money demolishing it and then having to rebuild it.
And it's WB money.
Yeah.
That's the
It's play money. Doesn't matter. But
for a franchise that for a very long time I think was the third or fourth highest grossing franchise of all time.
So much money. Insane money.
And no other real book film has really captured that momentum.
Mm-mm.
And I don't think it ever will.
I don't think so.
This one is just a phenomenon.
It was Vent films when they came out, especially the last two were events.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh. I wish
And
we could
you realize
relive it, honestly.
I know. And it always boggles me as like how close we were to them, some like Hermione leaving.
Yeah.
I know. Wow,
that would have
forgot
destroyed
about that.
everything.
Yeah.
That was after this movie. After this one, she was like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, it consumed their lives. All it is years and years and years, their entire childhood, like, gone. They're just filming.
Yeah, but they're filthy effing rich. So
Yes.
I'm like,
they can do whatever they want.
I didn't say I felt sorry for them. I was just saying it's a lot.
You can understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Plot point number 3. Harry has been having strange dreams, wandering the halls of the Department of Mysteries in search of some sort of weapon all school year. One night, however, he has a particularly vivid one. Harry himself is attacking, biting repeatedly, a very real Mr. Weasley in the Hall of Prophecy.
That was creepy. Like that whole scene is just horrific.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Weasley.
Yeah, and you can see him so terrified of Harry. Even though it's not Harry, but I think that's one of the most horrific scenes in this one. Like darkest.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really dark.
I did see an interview with J.K. Rowling, and she was saying that originally in the novel, she had him die in that scene, but she just couldn't go through with it. She's like, he's such a beloved character. Like, I can't. She couldn't do it.
How crazy would that have been if we got 2 huge deaths in this movie?
It would have been crazy.
Would have been, and I don't know, like, do you think if he died, it would have taken away from Sirius? Like, it wouldn't be as impactful because, there's a second death. They're both gone.
I think it would have almost made it more so because first you lose Arthur and you're already grieving Arthur and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he died. He's such an innocent person. Everything he did was for the best. And then Sirius dies. And now we lose Sirius. It almost would have made it more meaningful.
Double.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm thinking of all the characters that we lose later. And I don't really think it matters when they die. I think killing she does such a good job of building the character of these people that when you lose them, you're you
their
really
deaths
feel it.
All matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
All impactful.
Yep. So this event starts Harry and Snape beginning occlumency lessons, which is a whole nother thread in the movie.
Is that not torture? I couldn't figure out what exactly was going on.
Semi-torture?
No, so it does look pretty torturous, having somebody you literally hate, knowing the inner workings of your mind. But
and then do it back to you?
Yeah. The purpose is that Harry is supposed to be practicing shielding his mind. So Snape's supposed to be like going in, and Harry's supposed to be like trying to prevent him from getting into his mind.
This is Harry's Bella moment.
Mm-hmm. Clearly doesn't go so well.
Nope. All for Snape.
No.
He's like, get out.
And then we get the like beginnings of Harry seeing some of like Snape's childhood and his interactions with the Marauders.
Which I think that starts your trend of you feeling sorry for Snape. Like just that small bit, you feel like, okay, there's more. There's a little bit, obviously for someone who hasn't read the full books, you start going, okay, there's a little bit more.
Yeah. But you still hate him because he's being such a dick to Harry during these lessons where he's supposed to be helping him, you know?
He doesn't know how not to be. I think that's just his disposition.
Yeah. He's like, I still haven't got my job as a dark arts teacher. So I'm going to take it out on you.
Is running around telling everyone about it.
Yeah. That moment was so funny. Isn't it true that you were unsuccessful? Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Yes.
And then when she like measures Flitwick's height.
How rude. How rude. Who does that?
I know.
God.
Very bad.
Ugh. Terrible.
Okay, plot point number 4. During the OWL exams, Fred and George Weasley make their great escape from Hogwarts. Right after their tremendous show, Harry ends up with a show of his own behind his own eyes, another vision, and this time it's serious and he's in trouble. So they show like Hermione being like, do you think this is what Voldemort wanted you to see? And Harry's like, nah,
I don't care.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I have to go. Did y'all feel tricked? Like, do you feel like Harry should have fallen for this?
Almost like he could have, like, because the type of vision especially after with Mr. Weasley, like it's almost like he could have.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Like you would go, oh yeah, yep, that's a legit vision. I need, 100% that's true. But then Hermione drops that nugget. It's like, is Voldemort showing you these by choice? And you're like,
yeah. I kind of felt like even if Harry knew that it wasn't real, like if there was any chance that it was a little bit real, he was gonna go.
Done. Because it's serious.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I mean, you get the foreshadowing with Hermione, but then so it's like not as shocking when the Death Eaters show up because you're like, oh well, they kind of were halfway expecting this, but yeah.
But anything to do with serious, he just drop and go.
Yeah, I mean, I would. He is like ride or die. You got to keep him alive.
He's your ride or die. Yeah. Well, one of that sentence is true.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Oh, no.
Oh, Liz. Oh no.
Sorry.
Sad.
So then we get the sequence where they like trick Umbridge. They take her into the Forbidden Forest. She calls the centaurs half-breeds with near human intelligence.
That's a bad move.
Yeah, is she trying to like alienate an entire species that is capable of killing her? Like, what was the point of that?
Stomping her out right there.
Like, how stupid. How dumb.
How satisfying was
would it have been?
Watching it. How satisfying whether you're watching there going, yeah, you got what you deserved. You
deserved
toad.
this.
Yeah, you toad. Yeah. I love her arc in this movie. Like, it just makes that moment so powerful.
For someone who's just only just introduced as one movie, she did so much.
Yeah, she's a huge character in this movie.
Yes.
Wildly influential. Yeah, more so than like any other of the big like character additions per each movie, right? Because every single movie you get somebody different who's like a villain, right? And this one is she's so different, but she's so like just something about her. It's like this is just there's so much other stuff going on right now. Like this is just not what we need, you know?
Yeah. Voldemort's back. Yeah, we have this
We
pink
have to deal
toe of a
with
woman.
her
Yeah. But even
working against everything.
Yeah. But like, even the rest of the villains, like besides Voldemort, like they don't have as much as a big impact because you're like, oh, they're obviously working Voldemort, they're just doing this, but she seems to carry a little bit more weight. Maybe because she was more directly like torturing the kids.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, and affecting their like day-to-day lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when Hogwarts is meant to be a safe haven, even though for a school it's not safe at all.
Not in any single one of the movies.
No.
It's interesting too because it's almost like political commentary in a way because she's like supposed to represent like the ministry,
political.
right? Like getting involved at the school.
She would vote for
I
Trump.
made a note that's very Big Brother. Like it feels very like 1984. Like you get this feeling of like why they're just like trying to be in control.
Which is kind of wild because I feel like Hogwarts is kind of like a place where there's literally no rules and they have like no regard for the children's safety. So it kind of makes sense for the ministry to come in and be like, maybe this needs to be reined in a little bit. But it's just like there's in the Harry Potter world, there's no like middle ground. There's either like the way Dumbledore does it where it's loose or the way the ministry does it where it's like Umbridge. There's no
it's like no more Weasley products. Like why is that a rule at the school?
Yeah, why's the thing? And that's right. Like in a school where there's a forbidden forest that has all kinds of stuff around, teachers can some of the teachers are corrupt or a dick or hate the children. Even the groundskeeper hates the children. And and Hagrid's got all kinds of beasts behind,
that he's hiding.
Hiding. Yet, don't worry, your kids are safe. They're taught well here at Hogwarts.
Listen, I made this note at the beginning that like all these crazy things are going on, but everyone's still sending their kids to Hogwarts. Like, even if there was a rumor that the Dark Lord was back, like I would be like, no way. Like you're staying home this semester. Like that's insane. Insane.
Don't forget, there's no safer place than Hogwarts.
Well, then the rest of the world's pretty bad off.
Yeah. It's like, oh, the Dark Lord's going to return. Oh, don't worry, you have fun. Don't forget to get A's and B's. I'm sure that'll be fine. Don't worry. We'll see when you come back.
You won't be targeted at all. There's no way. There's no way.
And it's nothing to do with how everything happened with the Goblet of Fire, the tournament, and everything got leashed with the kid dying. Nothing to do with the giant snake. Nothing to do with the teacher that had the Two-Face on his back and the Philosopher's Stone. Like, you will be fine.
And then the ministry gets involved, and literally the children are like getting corporal punishment. Like,
so bad.
Yeah.
Might as well send them to Azkaban at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, oh, why got scars in your arm? Oh, because the teacher made us. Oh, just a normal day.
The safest place in the Wizarding World.
Oh my god.
Okay, plot point number 5. Harry, Ron, Hermione, Neville, Luna, and Ginny all arrive at the Ministry of Magic via Thestral Ride. They maneuver their way into the place that Harry has been dreaming about for months, the Department of Mysteries. They run through the Hall of Prophecy, a room full as the eye can see with shelves upon shelf of white glowing orbs. Neville sees one with Harry's name on it, so Harry, curious, retrieves the prophecy.
That whole room is cool. Dark, and when they're all going through it, and very creepy. Very creepy when they're going through it.
Why do they have that? Why does the Ministry of Magic have that?
That's a mystery.
That's what I think as well. Like, why do you have a giant room full of prophecies? And why is it at the ministry? Like, this seems like something more that would be in a cave or somewhere completely set off.
Cave.
No, but
It's like nobody's business what my prophecy is. So like, why are you keeping it like on file?
Yeah.
That's
why
weird.
does the government have this on file?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah. Oh, we know what you're going to do.
I don't really know.
Yeah, we know, but you can't know. We're keeping that from you.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Well, I think Harry's the only one who can pick it up because it's about him.
Yeah, that's the
but
thing.
But why do they have it in the first place?
Oh.
And would that mean they have thousands upon millions of every person?
Yes.
Looks like they had a lot of prophecies in there.
There was quite a few in there. There's a lot.
I don't know who's saying them because it's not Trelawney. She's only given 2.
I know. I was expecting her to be the one that was speaking Harry's. That was like a missed opportunity.
It was her voice. It was Emma Thompson's voice. Also, they shouldn't have it's such a plot hole that they read it there in front of Harry. That's super weird. It's supposed to get destroyed and never read to Harry there, but it's fine.
Oh.
Well, how are they going to figure it out if Harry didn't get to hear it?
So Trelawney says the prophecy. She says it the first time to Dumbledore. So you know that scene at the very end when Dumbledore talks with Harry, that's when you're supposed to hear it. They're supposed to go in the pensive and see it happen.
Yeah, that would have been cooler.
Yeah, it would have been cooler, and they could have spent some time explaining it because they never really explain it.
Just a little bit,
Yeah, just a little tiny bit. Just understand that, anything about it, really. I feel like
it did say at the end, Harry was telling Dumbledore what the prophecy said, and he's like, so that's meant to mean that one of us has to die.
Yeah,
and
at least they explained that.
That's
good.
At least we got that.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Yeah.
They also made it so that Neville's the one who picks up the prophecy, which is cool because that prophecy was either supposed to be about Harry or Neville. So
that's
because Voldemort chose to go after Harry's parents, he effectively made the prophecy about Harry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
50-50
But then the prophecy then the prophecy gets destroyed.
He should have just dropped it on the ground the second the Death Eaters showed up.
He really should have. It would have been nice if,
just,
the Order had told him anything about this weapon that they were hiding so that when, Harry's having visions about it, he kind of knows what's going on.
Why would they do that?
Why they keep so much from him? It's dumb.
It's very dumb.
He's
100%.
Obviously, he can handle it, whatever it is.
Well, what's his name says, he's just a boy. I'm like, he's a teenager. You're about to go to war with a powerful wizard, and you're saying, he doesn't need to know because he's a boy.
He needs to know everything.
Tell him.
He literally saw someone die in the last movie, and you think he can't handle that there's a prophecy about him? Come on.
And fought Lord Voldemort himself. Why does he need to be kept in the dark?
It makes no
crazy.
Sense.
And he just did the tournament and fought a dragon. What part of, he's just a boy?
He's not a boy anymore.
Ain't no boy anymore.
I hate to tell you, yeah. He grew up real quick.
The Hall of Prophecy scene, though, very cool. I like how all the orbs start to fall over.
Yeah.
Wild.
Is that a defense mechanism, or is that just because Ginny was haphazard with her spell?
It's supposed to be a defense mechanism.
Okay. I think it's Ginny effed up.
Nah.
Yeah, I knew it was one or the other.
Somehow, I can't remember how. Maybe it's their DA coins or something, but Harry tells them all, destroy the orbs. And then, when he, how he says, go, and they all, stupefy the Death Eaters. I think it's supposed to be, they all attack the orbs, then the orbs start falling. Which that would have been really sick if they had done that, honestly.
Made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
The Death Eaters wouldn't have been able to get away if that's what they did.
No.
Yeah, they would have been stuck there under the glass orbs. They would have been dead. That would have been so cool if they had done that.
Better option.
But still, the scene was very cool. And that whole sequence of fighting was really neat because we haven't seen anything quite like this up until this point. Like a true like battle of a ton of wizards.
Going back and forth, no. Which that whole scene is great and sad at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to the sad part here with plot point number 6. So,
Oh.
I know.
What
Guess what it is.
It's the ending.
A thrilling battle between the kids and Death Eaters ensues, ending up in the Death Chamber room, a sloping room where a stone crumbling arched veil sits upon a raised dais. Several members of the Order arrive to help, including Tonks, Lupin, Moody, and Sirius. Harry and Sirius end up fighting side by side. Sirius, proud of Harry for a spell, yells, "Good one, James!" But these are Sirius's last words in the film, for Bellatrix Lestrange shouts the killing curse, and Sirius falls into the archway behind the veil.
Which I didn't even notice until I think the third time I watched this film. I was like, oh, he does say James.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like never addressed.
No, Harry doesn't
It just
say anything.
happens
He's
and they move
like,
on from it.
Yeah. And that's an added line. And it's actually a really cool line because I think it really, really shows like that relationship that Harry and Sirius have in the film.
and
Yeah.
how
No,
much
it's more
he's
like-
like his father.
Yeah, his father, his brother, like his only family, you know?
Mm.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. I can't believe he dies. I can't believe that
Yeah.
like he gets killed off like this early, you know? Like Harry never even gets to live with him.
Yeah, but he does get a lot from him in that short time. Like Harry gets
Mm.
to feel loved again, and that's
Yeah.
what he
That's-
needed.
I have to say that moment in the film is so well done. The score, like the moment where like they're fighting with Lucius and then Bellatrix just like appears and kills him, like it's so shocking. Like
Mhm.
I got like really emotional watching it.
Aw.
Yeah, and how it goes like silent, and all you hear is the music
Yeah.
as
Just
Lupin's
good,
holding Harry.
dead silent. I wasn't expecting it when I first saw it. I was more like, come on, really? Like you've got to go, you're going to live with him, you're going to do this, and but
Even the other Death Eaters that were around were taken aback by what happened.
yeah,
Like everyone kind of stops what they're doing.
she's crazy.
She's a psycho.
Yeah,
She's a major psycho. She just gets
Yeah.
worse too.
but
It really ups
yeah,
the
she
ante
does.
for the series too. Like,
Mhm.
oh shit, like that up until that point it's kind of been like all talk that like these like the time before was like so dangerous, but now it's like no, like people are going to die. Like this is like a big deal.
And how quickly someone can just die. Like
Yeah.
they have all the they know all the curses.
And just
how quickly-
gone forever.
That's it. And I will admit how satisfying it was for Sirius Black to punch Lucius. Like,
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And then,
Yeah. Short lived.
very. And
Yep.
then he just faded away. Too, just into a ghost. Like, whew.
Yeah, into the veil.
Mm.
Which yeah, that was I really think they did a good job with that scene. Like I just think it's really powerful.
It's just one of the saddest scenes out of all of the Harry Potter films. You're like, God damn.
Iconic death for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to decide if that moment is more sad or if the Cedric like being brought back with the cup is more sad.
I get well.
We
There
didn't
isn't
get as much time with Cedric.
no, and you didn't have someone yelling, going, "My boy, my boy."
Oh my god.
You didn't have that.
What, you're saying that was distracting
No.
from your emotions? Or it was elevating it?
Elevating it.
Elevating it. Okay.
That was more of a more of a big shock. Where this is very much like, oh,
Yeah.
and you felt in the silence of the music. Also, silence in
Yeah.
the scene.
Yeah. Good filmmaking right there.
Mm.
Okay. Plot point number 7. Harry follows Bellatrix out into the atrium, and shortly after, Dumbledore arrives. The best display of magics in the films yet occurs, in my personal opinion. A magnificent battle between Voldemort and Dumbledore. Voldemort, in an attempt to trick Dumbledore into killing Harry, possesses him, only to realize that the love Harry feels is more than he can handle. For Voldemort has never known such an emotion and never will.
Because he's quite dead inside. Quite.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't deserve love.
No. And I
Okay, so
fully agree with you with that is such a good scene of display of magic. And it's one of the big things that you wait for too, because you're like, Voldemort versus Dumbledore. Like, it builds up to this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's huge. And like, they do some really cool stuff, like the water orb where Voldemort is like in the orb of water and then he like blasts out of it. And then you've got like all the shards of glass going at Dumbledore and he like turns them all into sand.
Mm.
So cool.
You're being creative.
Very
Very
creative.
creative.
What did y'all think of the possession of Harry?
Magnificent. Daniel Radcliffe is like top notch for that scene. He was
He
so
did
good.
really good.
Yeah,
He
I
did really
agree.
displaying both sides.
And then we also get the montage of like all these like moments from the film, right? Like, and Harry thinking about
From the whole
all of
series
his
up into this point.
yeah, and like all of his relationships and stuff. Like, that was so powerful, and I thought it was good. I liked it.
It was
And
nice.
how far they've all come and still had so much still to go at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, and Daniel Radcliffe is. Everyone's like, oh, he's just Harry Potter, but like he really has got really good acting chops.
Yes,
For everything
he
he's done,
does.
everything he's done after Harry Potter as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he really shines in this movie. He begins to shine a lot in this movie, I think.
Leigh's the only one who's actually kind of kept going too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting about Dan in this movie is that he has to do so much acting like on his own. Like in this moment with the possession and then like all the like sleeping and dreaming and like all of that is very much like him, right? Like he's carrying the weight of all of those moments and like how bad these movies would be like if he wasn't like the incredible actor that he is.
Well, so much was riding on him. Like the weight, the fact that you have a massive franchise on your hands and you are the center of attention. Well, you are the main character, and you've been doing this since
He is Harry Potter.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you are the main, so you have to meet that bar, and he did it especially for this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's talk about the
Which he
end
did,
of
I
the
think,
movie.
all of them.
Yeah. Dan is so good. From when he's 11 years old to all the way through the end of it. So in the end of the movie, we get Harry chatting with Dumbledore in his office. And they have just like a normal, proper chat. I think this movie feels like a Harry Potter movie ending. Like it kind of is like a little bit of a like wholesome feel in like a weird way.
I think they went cheesy with it a little bit, not gonna lie.
A little too cheesy. Okay.
Too cheesy?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like
Oh,
when they're
jeez.
going to leave and he's like, I realized I've got something that Voldemort will never have, something worth fighting for. And then they just walk away and you're like, okay. It's like a little bit cheesy.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
have the like scene at the end where they just like pan up and it's like the landscape with the castle in the background and you're like, this was not a happy ending to the like this was not a happy ending to like
Somebody
the story was not
died.
happy at the end. Yeah. And you're like showing this landscape like nothing bad's ever gonna happen again. I don't know. It didn't do
Yeah.
it for me.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because like they added that whole thread to this movie to like make it make sense. And so, like you said, it kind of made it almost like you think it went too far.
Yeah.
Almost,
They were too literal with it. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Almost too, almost like too of like, oh, everything will be fine. But at that point, everyone who's read the books, I'm like, no, this gets a lot worse.
Way
Yes.
worse.
It always gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
If you think you know, you don't know.
No. And I don't think even at that point they even announced that the last two films were going to be split up either. So the film does end on a semi-happy note, but at the same time it's like, well, Watson got attacked by a snake and is in serious pain. You've just lost your only family member. But don't you worry. You have family, the power of friendship, buddy.
Yeah.
You got something worth fighting for, sir. It's fine.
Yeah. And
It
Dumbledore
is
will
cheesy,
never
you're
lie to
right.
you again.
At least Voldemort won't try to possess him again, because I hated that.
No.
Okay, so I think that concludes everything that I had to talk about. Liz, Leigh, is there anything that we missed that you wanted to discuss?
No, I think we covered everything from top to bottom, and overall, I would say that this film is one of the strongest out of all the films. It is probably one of the ones I go back to the most to watch between like this, Goblet of Fire, Prisoner of Azkaban, and obviously Deathly Hallows.
Okay. We'll get your rating here in a minute. But before,
sorry,
Liz, did you have anything else you wanted to discuss?
Yeah. So we had a little debate. I think when we were talking about the second movie, on whether or not they ever gave Seamus a name in the films, and they did. They call him Seamus in this movie. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they do.
And he's another dick too. I was like,
Yeah,
my mother said, "Do you read everything in the newspaper, buddy, and think it's true?"
I don't give a shit what your mum says.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like,
Yeah, I just wanted to set that straight for all of you that
Thank
are
you.
listening to this, like in order. He
Thank
does
you. 10
get
points to
named in this
Gryffindor
movie.
for Seamus having a name.
tick.
Yeet. Also, I'm pretty sure that McGonagall gives 50 points to every character at the end of the book. And so just
Well,
for
it didn't happen in
fun-
the movie, so we're not doing that.
Doesn't count.
Well, I was going to say we could give 50 points to Luna, who is a Ravenclaw, because this is her big movie.
All right. Yeah.
Quite a few points for Ravenclaw.
They have been the underdogs this entire time. I think it's time they get some points.
When they overcome your beloved Gryffindor, you are to blame.
It's rigged anyway. I don't even care. It'll be like the first movie, and we'll just like pull a win at the last second.
Oh my god.
You
We'll
know?
see about
Well,
that.
that's right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll let the people decide.
For all attendance, Gryffindor gets an extra 100 points.
You better add it, Liz.
I already did.
Okay, so we have some guest questions. We already talked about favorite piece of magic with the film a bit. So what I will ask is, Leigh and Liz, who were your favorite characters in this film?
Luna.
She's a good one.
I
I do
think-
really enjoy Luna as well.
Besides all the main
Yeah, she is
characters,
good.
she was my favorite, which is why I still ship her and Harry to this day. But I thought
We got to get that going. We'll have to ask
Yeah.
the people what they think.
yeah, who do
Maybe
you
that can be
ship?
our question for the Q&A for this episode,
Yeah.
Liz.
I just
that,
thought
but
she was a
okay.
bit more switched on than the other characters, and like she had more like with the carriages, and she was really there for Harry. And I'm like, nah, you're probably my unsung hero for the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good answer.
I got to stick with my boy Ron.
Fair.
He did some great things in this movie. I love him. And I've just got to give him love because I feel like every time I turn around, somebody's making fun of him. So, Ron, if you're out there, I love you.
I think Sirius might be my favorite character in this movie
Oh yeah.
because he drives like a lot of the emotional plot. And I also like Bellatrix. I think she's so good in this movie.
She is really good.
The laugh. Like we said before, but the
Agree
laugh.
with them both. I know. Okay. I think it's time to rate the movie. So, Leigh, we're going to let you rate the movie first. And as a reminder, we rate all of our movies through Letterboxd, 0 to 5 stars with half-star increments.
I give it 4 stars. 4 out of 5 stars.
Nice. That's pretty good.
I think this one didn't slow down. It goes for beat. The CGI is good. The acting's good. And it really makes you at the end, like at the end you want to know what's going to happen. Still going to happen next with everything going on. But I definitely don't think it's anywhere near this is one of the lull films from the franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Respectable. Liz?
I also give this one 4 out of 5 stars. Kind of echo a lot of what you said, Leigh. Yeah, there was a lot going on, and there were some really good scenes, but overall, I just felt like it wasn't as exciting as some of the other movies.
Okay. I am going to also give this movie 4 stars. However,
Wow, that is the first time that we've had like a unanimous decision.
Yeah. However, I'm going to say if the HBO series has this same plot, it will get like a 1 star from me. I will only accept it in the fact that this is a movie and they got to make some changes or whatever. But that HBO series better be to the T for the book because there's so much subplot that is like so good that they will have the time to include.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that show? How do you feel that Harry Potter is getting rebooted?
We've discussed this. I don't know. I just think that the pressure is really high because they're rebooting it. Like it has to be like good, you know, because they already have such a good franchise. Like it has to be better, you know?
Yeah.
Like why would they remake it if it's not better?
Mm-hmm. True.
Money.
Yeah, but whatever. That would make me mad.
Okay, so something we've been doing recently is kind of polling our followers on Instagram and just asking what they thought of the movie. So I have 3 write-ins that we're gonna talk about. The first one is from Lewis from Movie of the Day, and he was just on our last episode, so shout out Lewis. He said, "A great installment, but Umbridge could go fall in a well."
Agreed. Hello, ma'am.
The next one is from Film versus Film podcast, and Martin said, "Probably has the coolest wizard battle with Dumbledore versus Voldemort, staying on brand."
Yeah,
100%.
agreed.
Very nice, Martin. And then the last one, because I've included his in the last few, so I feel like maybe I'll just keep including them, is from my husband. And he likes to say funny things in our write-ins, and so I'm just going to call him out here. He said, "More like the disorder of the Phoenix."
True. So much goes wrong that could have been avoided.
Yep.
True.
Okay. Another thing we do is we see what the world has to say, and we take some ratings from some of the popular rating sites and share them. So the Letterboxd average is a 3.6 out of 5. For Rotten Tomatoes, the critics' tomato meter is 78% and the audience score is 81%. IMDb gave it a 7.5 and 89% of Google users liked the movie.
Interesting that the critic score and the audience score for Rotten Tomatoes are like right on par with each other at 78 and 81%.
It was just so rare. Usually it's
Yeah,
so
very
skew
rare.
if.
Yeah. Yeah, we've discussed. We think the tomato meter is kind of bogus, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
it's fine. Okay.
It's
It's time to check into our B-Critics Hogwarts House tournament. We've had a lot of points moving this episode.
Lee, if
Leigh,
you didn't
we've
catch
actually-
on, we've been like adding and taking points away throughout the episode.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Yeah. I think somehow it's pretty subjective, which I think Liz is just like frivolously adding points. But
Whenever I
I've
think about
decided-
it.
I've decided that it's fine because if you think about it, the actual like house point system in the series is like pretty subjective, like with teachers just like flinging out points however they please. So with that,
we do have a new house on top this time. So
Ooh.
things have oh my gosh.
Your reaction to that.
we also
in
have a
the-
new bottom house. So we had two like big changes happen this
Swapped.
episode.
Things are a moving. Okay. In fourth place, we have Slytherin House with 135 points. In third place, somehow moving up in the ranks, we've got Ravenclaw with 190 points. In second place, we have Hufflepuff with 245 points. And miraculously, in first place for the first time, we have Gryffindor House with 315 points, a clear winner.
Yay.
But it's not over yet. We still have many more movies to go.
Yes, we still have more movies to go. And also for you listening at home, if you are really into the B-Critics Hogwarts House tournament and want to make sure that your house wins, be sure to comment on this episode on YouTube telling us which house you're in. You can comment one time per episode. And don't try to cheat because we will know if you do.
Yep.
And we'll take points away.
Each comment gives you 5 points, so definitely don't
Yep.
cheat. We'll deduct the points, and we will know. Okay, so I think that concludes our episode. So with that, Leigh, we are going to say goodbye to you. So we'll give you a chance here to plug all of your stuff and tell the people where to find you.
Well, look, I want to say thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolute blast, and I can't wait to chance to either do this again or get you on my show, which is on
Absolutely.
or where you get your local podcasts. Yes, please. YouTube, Instagram, where you get your social media and your podcasts under Lights, Camera, Rant, and which new episodes come out every Tuesday.
Yeah, you can watch our episodes on Monday and then go catch Lee's on Tuesday.
Perfect.
Perfect. Y'all definitely go check out Lights, Camera, Rant. And Leigh, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. This is such a blast.
Bye,
Anytime.
Leigh.
See ya.
Bye.
And bye, B-Critics fam. Thanks for tuning in to our Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix episode. Leave us a rating or review, drop us a comment on YouTube, and leave us an answer to our poll and Q&A section on Spotify.
And you can find more information about the podcast and our whole podography on our website, bcritics.com, or you can find links to all the things on our Linktree in the episode show notes below.
Next week, we are discussing a movie, and I bet you couldn't have guessed it, but it is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So stay tuned for that.
It's my favorite book, so it's going to be a whirlwind of a discussion. Be sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss it. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
All right, that is it for this episode. We will see y'all on the next one.
Bye, guys.